I feel a bit ignored when you changed our weekend plans last minute. It's hard for me to trust our schedule. Wait a minute. Let's collect some data here. I actually communicate 3 different occasions correctly this week, and you're hyper-focusing on one outliner. Maybe your need for the system that works for you is just another way to try to control my autonomy. I'm not trying to control you. I'm just trying to tell you how I feel. This is all make me the bad guy again. I can't, my head, it's all like blank right now. I can't think. I feel so small right now, and I can't be smart enough to have this conversation. Would you just hold me? I'm shaking. You just heard 2 protectors play a relate, specifically a intellectual part that protects, that shields, and a scared little part never learned how to self-regulate so they can feel safe while standing upright. I'm your host, Ija Martins. Welcome back to the happiness game for romantic relationships. Last week, we talked about the child partner's parts, and this child partner started from dorsal state as a default and goes to a sympathetic state, fight or flight, in no time. This week, we're exploring a different variation of the child partner, starting from a sympathetic state that has an intellectual part that shields and protects, and then goes down to a collapsed dorsal state, the scared child part. Why do we sometimes alternating between those 2 states? One part that is agitated and super intellectual and lawyer-like, and then the next moment we collapse and we shut down. We couldn't even verbalize ourselves. Those are actually different versions of the need as a child to feel safe, but didn't get equipped properly nervous system-wise. Today we'll explore them and stay till the end so you can get to hear my tips and for how to transit from a sympathetic state, titrating up to ventral state instead of shut down, go to dorsal. And at the end, there will always be a standalone meditation. Let's begin. So when you think about the intellectual part, the protector is a very familiar part to me. So my previous career is in law, so I have a very good part that's good at arguing, very intellectual, always know what to say, always have the counter argument, actually many counter arguments waiting for you when you say something. So this part in my body feels like having a natural vision, really focused, and a lot of energy in the face and upper head. Well, head a little bit tilted forwards, almost in the cockfighting position, and ready to peck and ready to come out with arguments. And there's a disconnection from the throat down to the rest of part of my body, especially the region close to the heart is cut off, and very few movement. And when I talk, it will be like this, a lot of times in the throat, in the mouth, in the lips and teeth. But do you notice there's no energy coming from the heart and the chest, and then also the core of my body is mostly the energy stays right here. Very sharp and high-pitched and tend to be fast-paced without breathing much. That is a battling lawyer intellectual part. This part protects us, shields us from feeling the deeper emotions when we do not feel heard and understood, that trying to avoid that we're perceived to be bad and not good enough. And so we're coming up with arguments and to really cut off from the feeling to this palpitation in our body. It is a sympathetic state. It's a fighting state. So it can be mobilized and moving to ventral state, which I will show you how to do that in later. But a lot of child partner in this dynamic I'm describing tend to go directly to shut down. When they feel they cannot win the argument, they collapse into a child state while they ask for co-regulation to feel safe, but they never got that co-regulation. So the scared child tend to if I think about this child is a younger part, like a 4 to 6 year old, having hands reaching out and saying, hold me, I need help, I need you, I am so scared and overwhelmed, I don't know how to feel safe. This is not good. We're not doing well, and I'm scared that you might leave me, that I don't like this sensation in my body, heart palpitation, heat, and shakiness. I don't know how to regulate back to being a calm, relaxed, okay place. And this part tend to have a lower energy, sometimes show up as a heaviness in the heart, other times show up as being shaky, and other times there are tears coming down, choking, couldn't talk really clearly, and fogginess in the head, they cannot think straight. Well, it makes sense for a 4 to 6 year old time. You may hear a lot of caregivers how the 4-year-old and 6-year-old say, use your words, don't cry. Well, it's not very developmental appropriate. If you think about, if you never told the children when you feel this way, that's how you feel, name it this way, and that's how you breathe to downregulate. What are resources for you to feel calm and okay and safe again? Where does the child learn to self-regulate and to soothe and come back to calmness? So it needs an adult. The most immediate action is to pick up the child or stay close to the child, having physical contact. Either they sit on your lap or holding hand or giving them a hug. Depends on the age and the needs of the child in the moment. But physical co-regulation comes in the fastest way for our brain to process in that stage of development. So some parents in certain culture like to come in with a co-regulation by reasoning, lecturing, telling them what you're supposed to be feeling, what you're supposed to be saying, what you're supposed to be acting. That comes in later when they're in the ventral state, when they're open and receptive to those teaching that can be better integrated. But in the moment of distress, the most immediate co-regulation is through the body. So it makes sense. The partner that retreat, collapse into the 4 to 6 year old child, scared child part will need that co-regulation and one and a hug, one and comfort, instead of staying very clear-headed and giving you a grounded conversation about a conflict that you just had. So here is some tips for the child partner who fall into oscillating between those two parts, intellectual fighter and also the scared child collapse. So one tip I have for you is to name when you are in the intellectual protector state. The moment you notice your heart racing, for me, is heart racing, sharp, narrow vision, and sharp, high-pitched voice, and talking faster and faster, and having tons of argument ready, almost like a little fighter, get ready to react, to punch. You notice that state of you, a lot of tension up here, name it, saying, I feel a little bit tense right now, and rise up. I'm noticing I'm trying to argue and to defend myself, so I don't have to feel what's underneath that's uncomfortable, and feeling of I could be wrong or I'm not good. So I'm going to take a little break. This is not really conducive and productive that we keep just argue. We're not in court. We're in a relationship. We're developing. So to name it is a good way. And when you notice you already collapse into the child state, the scared dorsal state, it's good to take a break, maybe a 5 minutes break, but don't withdraw and don't ask for co-regulation right away, like hugging, cuddling. Bypass this state. Stay upright with your spine. Sit with your partner in the same space. You can try to have a little bit contact of touching the hands if they're receptive, and breathe and just notice what's going on. And then outside of this fighting state, that I will give you a standalone meditation for the child partner to calm their parts inside. Are you ready? I'm going to play a little music for us in the background, for us to have a short meditation to come back. Notice your feet on the floor and say hi to the part of you that's trying to protect you by using words. They're helping you to not to be the target of blame and the wrongdoings and judgments from others. Thank them for doing this work the way they know to protect you, to help you. And gently invite this part to step back and take a little break. Now if you can, locate the scared little child inside and surround this child with warm golden light. If you prefer, you can also imagine a warm hooded towel that just comes out of the dryer. You put it on this child's head and wrap them around like a little burrito and give them a gentle hug and nudge. Tell them, you're safe. I am an adult right now and I will always protect you. Make sure you're safe. Stay with this child until this child soothes and breathes more easily, slower, and calmer. You can try to hold hands with this child and encourage this child to stand up on their own feet and let them feel the support of the ground of their feet and their legs and their spine. And notice how it feels inside of your body when you're connecting with a child inside of you. And again, thank the part of you that's trying to protect you with words, the intellectual part, for allowing the space for you to connect with the scared child part and soothe this part. You can come back to this meditation anytime you feel stressed. When those two parts come out, then you need some co-regulation. Thank you for viewing, and I will see you next week, my friend.